Hi everyone, this is a brief message to notify you that a phenomenological narrative that I've been working on for probably around 8 years is now pre-released, and you can find it on Patreon. You can download it as a PDF as a free member, so you don't have to pay anything for it. I just needed some platform, on which to publish it. It will be officially published on Amazon and possibly other platforms, but for paperback, etc. But not yet. Few quick comments are in order, though. Please read the introduction carefully as it acquaints you with what's called phenomenological narration. Now, phenomenological narration is a grammatical generalization of first person perspective, in the sense that first person perspective is self conscious narration, and phenomenological narration involves self conscious and subconscious aspects. So basically, what phenomenological narration does is it verbally approximates certain aspects of subconscious narration. And it does so mainly through, and this is explained in the introduction, transitionally and punctuationally replacing certain words and symbols. Now, transitionally, we replace many determiners like definite articles, any pronouns, distributive determiners, any word which is basically a filler word that allows you to more clearly and slowly communicate. So these words would be the, a, an, and other pronouns. Basically, almost every determiner is minimized or eliminated in the service of quickening the what's called expressive tempo of the expression. So we can say that subconscious narration involves what are called proto-formed formulas, which are a generalization of what are called well-formed formulas in formal language theory, which are syntactically valid and semantically complete or unambiguous expressions, whereas protoform formulas are syntactically valid yet semantically open-ended and therefore nebulous, open to semantically compatible with many different interpretations. And the introduction runs through this. Now, in terms of punctuation marks, this is probably the most salient distinction, and that is that decelerative punctuation marks like periods and commas are replaced with accelerative punctuation marks, which are colons instead of commas and ellipses. These are a colon, for example, instead of using the most common linking word is or its conjugations, being the conjugations of being, we replace that. Instead of saying, for example, I am hungry, or let's use a different example. Instead of saying the bravery is the squadron's bravery is undervalued, we would say bravery colon undervalued. That is a subconscious expression in the sense that you're not pronouncing or articulating the colon. It is a silent. In fact, in math, we use colons to express a mapping. Right? You have a mapping colon input mapping into output. You don't actually, and usually what you express the mapping sometimes by saying of, but you don't need to even speak it, and that's why it's accelerative. Ellipses are accelerative as well because they allow you to link many different expressions. Instead of partitioning them strictly into sentences, you can link them through ellipses. And so what are called run-on sentences and conjunction words and, or, but, etc. are no longer required in phenomenological narration. So, once again, terminal well-formedness is a strict mandate that phenomenological narration does not abide by. And what results is, well, let's put it this way. Well-formed formulas, sometimes called just complete sentences, are an author strives to use them to produce what's called lucid prose. If you stick strictly to proto-formed formulas, which again are syntactically complete or valid and yet semantically incomplete, you get something called turbid prose. And that's because the prose is chaotic and semi-unintelligible. What Respawn, which is the title of this phenomenological narrative, does is it attempts to integrate lucid and turbid forms or types of prose into a hybrid or fusional prose, which with ascendingly adaptive integration. And so what you're going to get are alternations, which are we're striving for integrations, but to introduce this, we're emphasizing the alternation between well-formed formulas, namely lucid prose, and proto-form formulas, namely turbid prose. So I hope you enjoy. Let's see if there's any other comments. Respawn is going to be followed by a very different kind of book, but I'll consider it a sequel in a sense, and you'll see at the very end there's a nice little plot twist that leads to the sequel, which is titled Concurrence. So, I hope you enjoy. Eventually, as I said, I will officially publish Respawn and other written works on more public platforms, but I will do so through pseudonyms and through self-publishing. I explain why in the afterword to Respawn. So once you finish the actual narrative, feel free to read. It's a brief one-pager. And I hope you have a beautiful day, everyone.